What's up, everybody? It's Clay of the Hills Maniacs, and today we're going to be doing a theory video on one of my favorite series in the world. Not Star Wars, but Harry Potter. So, this theory video today is going to be about the three brothers. If you know the story, good. If not, I'll explain it to you. But the three brothers is a story we learn about in the Deathly Hallows from the Tales of Beedle the Bard, and it describes the origins of the Deathly Hallows. So the three brothers come across a river that they can't cross, but because they're wizards, they build a bridge which allows them to cross over this river. And when they get to the other side, they're greeted by Death, who feels cheated because they crossed the river without dying, and then congratulate them for figuring out a way to do so. And to congratulate them, he offers them each a gift, anything they want. So the oldest brother, the first brother, requests a wand to make him the most powerful wizard in the world. The second brother requests something that would allow him to bring back dead loved ones. The third brother wants a way where he can leave this place without being followed by death. So for the first brother, Death carves a wand out of an elder tree and gives it to him. For the second brother, who wanted the way to bring back loved ones, he gives him a stone from the river. And for the third brother, Death rips off a piece of his own cloak of invisibility and gives it to the brother so that he can hide from Death until he's ready to give it up. The oldest brother brags about his new power that he gets from the Elder Wand and ends up getting killed for it, and somebody steals the wand. The second brother brings back the person he wanted to bring back, but because she died, she feels sad because she doesn't belong here, and so this brother hangs himself in order to be with her again. For the third brother, the one with the invisibility cloak, he lives his life as he wants to, free of death, until the day he's ready to die. Then he passes the cloak to his son and greets Death as an old friend and goes with him willingly. Now there's a theory that says that these three brothers are represented by characters in the Harry Potter universe. The theory says that Voldemort represents the oldest brother, the second brother is represented by Snape, and the third brother is represented by Harry, with Dumbledore representing Death. There's reasons for why people put each of them in these categories that they're in. You know, why Voldemort's the oldest, why Snape's the second child, and why Harry's the third child. But I have another theory. What if Dumbledore doesn't represent Death, but he represents the oldest brother? Remember the story, right? The three brothers. The oldest brother wanted a wand to make him powerful. He ultimately wanted power, right? And he bragged about the power that he gets. Dumbledore also wants power, and so that's why I think he represents the oldest brother. An example of this would be when they were younger, because we do end up finding out more about Dumbledore's backstory from many different sources, the movies, the books, whatever. But when he was younger, Dumbledore and Gellert Grindelwald heard stories about the Deathly Hallows and decided they wanted to track down these Deathly Hallows so that they could get that power that was in these Deathly Hallows. And so Grindelwald and Dumbledore go searching for them and end up disagreeing in some way, and Dumbledore, his brother Aberforth, and Grindelwald end up dueling, which leads to the death of Dumbledore's sister Ariana. And then Grindelwald leaves, Dumbledore and Aberforth kind of separate, and later on, Grindelwald steals the Elder Wand from Gregorovich and Dumbledore ends up having to defeat Grindelwald to take the Elder Wand, which gives him that power that he wants. And what way can you become the ultimate wizard except by having all three Deathly Hallows, which is exactly what Dumbledore ends up doing. He gets the Elder Wand from Grindelwald when he beats him. He gets the Resurrection Stone, which is a Horcrux, which is in Marvolo Gaunt's ring. And he gets the Invisibility Cloak when James Potter gets killed by Voldemort, so that he can give the cloak to Harry. And so, and throughout the series, there's other examples of Dumbledore wanting power. An example would be when Harry's talking to Aberforth. Aberforth says Dumbledore sacrificed many things in his quest for power, including his sister Ariana, which is referring back to that incident where Ariana got killed by somebody in that duel. And so even his brother says that all Dumbledore really wanted was power. And we find this out in that story. But for the second brother, our theories are the same, because Severus Snape in the original theory represents the second brother, and in my theory he also represents the second brother. This is obvious because Snape's whole mission pretty much in the Harry Potter series is to protect Harry because he loved his mother, and he would do anything to bring her back. I mean, he even says in the first book, he doesn't say it directly, but when he asks what would I get if I added powdered root of asphodel to an infusion of wormwood. And asphodel is a type of lily, and wormwood represents sorrow, which means he's pretty much saying he regrets the death of Lily. And so we find out later on in the series that he was trying to protect Harry the whole time, which makes his death even more tragic. But we do learn that he was actually a good guy, and that's why he represents the second brother. Now for the third brother, the original theory says it's Harry. For my theory, it says it's Voldemort. The third brother wanted to avoid death, which is exactly what Voldemort wants to do. Voldemort wants to live forever. I mean, he even says that only I can live forever. He makes 7 Horcruxes so that his soul can be split, and as long as at least one of them exists, he can still come back. He wants to be immortal, in a way. So he's willing to do anything to make sure he lives forever. Another example would be when we're talking about a boggart, which, if you don't know, is a creature that takes the shape of what the person in front of it fears the most. Nobody really knows what it looks like. Voldemort's boggart is him dead. So it's pretty much saying what Voldemort fears is death, which is a good example of the same thing the third brother did. He didn't say he feared death, he just wanted a way to avoid death, but in a sense it is that he feared dying, which is why he didn't want to be followed by death. And so we'll move on to who represents death in this theory. And the original theory said it was Dumbledore. Mine says it was Harry. If you look at it from the perspective of the Deathly Hallows, and that's why you think Dumbledore is death, is because he owned all 3, so did Harry. At the end of the series, Harry owns the Elder Wand, which he got when he disarmed Draco, the Resurrection Stone, which Dumbledore gave him in the Golden Snitch, and the Invisibility Cloak, which he had that Dumbledore gave him in his first year at Hogwarts. And Harry could represent death because of all the people around him that die either for him or in some way because of Harry. I mean, just look at all the people. Obviously, his parents died protecting him. Dumbledore and Snape died with the knowledge that Harry's the one that has to beat Voldemort, so they were willing to sacrifice themselves for Harry in a way. And the people that died during the Battle of Hogwarts, Fred Weasley, Remus Lupin, Nymphadora Tonks, Mad-Eye Moody, who died during the Battle of the Seven Potters, Dobby, who died protecting Harry when Bellatrix threw her knife at him. So he pretty much carries that aura of death around him, and that's probably why a lot of people didn't like him, because of stuff he could do. And I mean, I said earlier, Voldemort feared death. Voldemort also feared Harry. If you're looking for an example, the night Voldemort killed Lily and James Potter, he tried to kill Harry. He went after Harry and Lily and James because he heard Professor Trelawney's prophecy about the one who can defeat the Dark Lord. So in a way, he feared being defeated, which is what caused him to fear Harry, who represents death. That's why I think he represents death. Also, we see the third brother from the story greets death as an old friend and goes with him willingly. Well, you might be, well, if Harry's death and Voldemort's the third brother, when do they, and the reason many people think it's Dumbledore is because after Harry dies, he sees Dumbledore. And so people are like, oh, well, yeah, he greeted death. But Voldemort's soul, the part that was in Harry, was also there. And during that final battle, after Nagini gets killed by Neville, Voldemort evaporates or disintegrates into ash. This isn't because of Thanos' snap, for the Marvel fans out there. This is because he, in my opinion, knew it was time for him to die. He could feel that all the Horcruxes were destroyed, so whatever soul he had left, he had with him. And he willingly, in a way, he didn't purposely, vanish like that, but he pretty much gave himself up in the battle. He stopped trying to kill Harry because he knew it wouldn't work, because his Horcruxes were destroyed. There was no way for him to live, so if he kept battling, he would end up dead. And that's what he feared the most. And then he ended up evaporating because there was no soul left of him, because all his Horcruxes were destroyed. So that, in my opinion, represents where he willingly went with death. Now, he didn't willingly go with death in the books, but he gave himself up, saying, hey, I'm okay with dying now because there's no way for me to live anyways. And so that's why I think Harry represents death, Voldemort represents the youngest brother, Snape's the second, and Dumbledore is the oldest. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this theory. Remember, this theory was just for fun. This is not supposed to, prove anything else wrong or make anybody feel bad or feel wrong because of anything they believe. This was just a theory, and it was just for fun. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, like this video, leave comments if you want to see more stuff like this, or just what you want to see. Steven will be doing his own videos on this channel, and because I'm at college, so we can't really do them together until I go back home. So stay tuned for those. Click the bell button so you get notifications when we upload a new video. Have a great day, guys. Bye.